Hi, my name is Macy Morris, and today I'll be talking to you about shades of meaning of words. Connotations, denotations, what authors can actually mean about the words, and we'll do that by analyzing the work of Charles Bukowski. So first we'll just start off with denotation versus connotation. So denotation is actually just the literal meaning of a word, the dictionary meaning of the word. So if you say, "You're on fire," you're actually saying that person is on fire. Connotation, on the other hand, is kind of like the implied meaning, so it's not literal, but it's something that we learn from speaking with people, learn from experience. We learn different figurative meanings of that word. So in that same example, if I said, "You're on fire," it means you could be doing really good at a task or something, which is completely different and a lot better than the denotative meaning of that same phrase. So like I said, we will be reviewing the works of Charles Bukowski. He is one of my favorite poets, and I have 3 of his different poetry books here with me. First, I'll be looking at his book, Love is a Dog from Hell. This poem, entitled "The Meek Have Inherited," goes like this. "If I suffer at this typewriter, think how I'd feel among the lettuce pickers of Salinas. I think of the men I've known in factories with no way to get out, choking while living, choking while laughing, at Bob Hope or Lucille Ball, while 2 or 3 children beat tennis balls against the walls. Some suicides are never recorded." I find this interesting because he uses the word suffer as he's sitting at the typewriter. Suffering you might relate to someone who's physically sick or being tortured or something of that sort. In this case, suffering could probably mean his mental state. He's suffering, he's not happy, and so he's basically alluding to the fact that if I'm not happy doing the thing that I'm most happy doing, which is writing, then how am I ever going to be happy doing a job that I could probably hate, which he refers to as the lettuce pickers. And then he starts talking about the people who are in factories who can't get out. They say they can't get out, which probably means they can get out, but they feel stuck there because they probably have a moral obligation to pay for their children, to pay for their families. So it kind of gives it this connotation that they are stuck there. They literally cannot get out of where they are, and he refers to them as choking on their lives and choking on their laughter because they're not fully living. They are choking through life because they are not living their happiness. And so the last line hits really hard. Whenever I hear it, he says, "Some suicides are never recorded." I find this very interesting because he's saying that, you know, it's not an actual suicide, it's not the actual act of them killing themselves, holding a gun to their head, putting a rope around their neck, whatever. He's referring to the fact that they're slowly killing themselves, they're slowly wasting away their lives by doing things that they absolutely just hate. The next excerpt that we will be looking at comes from Charles Bukowski's book, You Get So Alone at Times That It Just Makes Sense. We will be reviewing the poem entitled Murder. At the very end, it says, "It happens and happens and continues to. The mutilation of talent the gods seldom give, but so quickly take." In this poem, he's talking about poets that start off, they are given such great talent, and then they start to make it in the world, and they go off to Hollywood and whatever, they get famous, they are defined by fame and greed, and it's not about the writing anymore. They're writing on a time clock instead of writing because they feel like it. They're writing because they have to. And so he uses this word mutilated. So talent is kind of a construct, it's not physically there, so you can't physically mutilate talent, but he's using this word because they are marring their talent by not appreciating it, and then 2, just basically taking it at face value. They're not using their talent the way they should because they are blinded by fame and greed and all this other stuff. And so he's talking about this talent that is given to them but is so easily taken away when they take it for granted. The last excerpt that we will be reviewing is from Charles Bukowski's book, Sifting Through the Madness for the Word, the Line, the Way. This poem is called Escapade. In the very beginning it says, "The end of grace, the end of what matters. The eye at the bottom of the bottle is ours, winking back. This is a very short excerpt, but I think it holds kind of a lot. The whole thing about connotations is that we learn about connotations and what meanings could be through talking to people and through experience. And so I think a lot of people kind of know the phrase, like, you know, you're searching for your problems at the bottom of a bottle. Like, people have heard that, people understand that people are trying to drink their problems away. So in this poem, when it says the eye at the bottom of the bottle is ours winking back, we kind of see that they're searching for the solution to a problem, but they're not finding it. All they see at the bottom of this bottle searching for this problem is themselves looking back. And maybe that means that they have to look in themselves to be able to solve this problem. But I just think it's very interesting because connotations are largely based on experience and what you learn through life and different sayings and all that. I think this is a really good example of that. All in all, denotations and connotations can really change the way that sentences work, that words work, that authors get across what they are trying to say. I think I chose poetry because that's a place that these connotations are used a lot, where authors are trying to be more figurative than literal, and I think I try to give you really good examples of that and how things can be connotative and how they can have these figurative meanings. And that's where we come back to these shades of meanings, because one word can have so many different meanings based on where it is in a sentence, like what the context is, what they're trying to get across. And I think even because connotations are so much based on experience, that's what kind of changes literature for people. Every book that you read is going to be different for every single person that reads it. Nobody's going to get the same effect from a poem, because everybody's going to translate it different using these connotative meanings that they have experienced and learned through their lives. Anyway, that's all for today, and thanks for listening.